Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Kahalam La Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rachakwadash. Yahweh is the true and powerful mighty name of who people ignorantly call God and Jehovah. Bahashim means in the name. Yahweh Shai is the true and powerful mighty name of who people ignorantly call Jesus. And the Rachakwadash is the Holy Spirit. I want to give double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from and who were well. Peace, blessing, safety, and salutation unto the hopeful elect. To you believers and listeners out there that came back into the faith and obedience of Yahweh Shai Shai, and much love and respect unto you brothers, pushing this gospel in sincerity and truth. May Yahweh Shai continue to bless you and your household. Shalom, it's your brother Yawan coming back at you with another lesson. Going into the topic of the M.O.T.B, okay? Because, this is something that, really needs to be talked about. I know, I just went over this, recently, but hey, we got to be repetitive with Jake, man. You Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Seminole Indians, West Indians, and Haitians, okay? We got to be repetitive with y'all. You have a confusion of faces as well. The Israelite foreigners, they're like unto the speckled bird, but their bloodline and lineage goes back unto Jacob, all right? We have to be repetitive towards our people because they're hard-headed. And, Jake has a very short attention span, and, so that's why we touch on the same topic multiple times because, you can never hear it enough, man. We're giving you warning from Yahweh Shai. Okay, and that's what we're doing. We're blowing the trumpet, trying to warn y'all what's coming down the pipe. Okay? And this, I'm trying to find the correct word for the Vanessa Williams, Maxine Waters. This is all the prelude to the M.O.T.B, Biz Marquis, Marcus, or whatever term you want to, call it. It's leading up to that, and they're going to work hand in hand, okay, because there have been some talks that Vanessa Williams have little nanobots, is going to change your DNA and RNA and all that. It's going to, work hand, conform you to be more acceptable to the 5G technology. Then when they put the Biz mark in you, your body won't reject it, But nonetheless, we are not supposed to, and I'm going to start off with this, going to Leviticus and the law. Because, in the law, it tells us, Leviticus 19:28, you shall make no cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am Yahweh. Okay, so we are not to make any cuttings, etchings in our flesh. All right? And, just to get a little bit better understanding, let's go into the blue letter and look up that word cuttings. Okay? Even though we all should know what it means, but the more you know, right? Cuttings. My volume turned up, con.
Strong's H 8296.
Seret.
Second entry. Sinetif.
All right. Outline of biblical uses: an incision or a cut. Okay. And what does that do when you put that needle inside you? Cutting your skin, man. You piercing it, pricking it. Okay. So going into Revelation 13:16, and he caused it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand on their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Now we all know that the number 666, goes into his universal product code, the UPC, Okay, and you know, pretty much on all these man's products, the first number, the middle number, and the last number is sixes or sixes. Okay, so that's the Slovakia. That's the number and the image of the beast goes into this beast system. All right, and we all know the mark is the charagma, which is like a pail or a stake. Just in case if anybody's new watching this, it never hurts to go into this again for edification's sake.
Strong's G 5480. Charagma. Charagma.
A stamp, an imprinted mark. Okay. Thing of a mark stamped on the forehead or right hand as a badge of the followers of anti-Mashiach. The mark branded upon horses, things carved, sculpting, graven work. Okay. Now we go to the root word.
Strong's G 5482. Charax. Charax.
A pail or a stake, a palisade. Okay. So I did this in the last lesson I did on the M.O.T.B, but this is a pail stake. Okay. Doesn't it look similar to a syringe? Okay. And this is the thing that they're going to try to put into us. Okay. And then you got Elon Musk and his Neuralink. You got the Neuralace. All that is for the head. Okay. So let's get some more scriptures going into the M.O.T.B, which are in the Old Testament, that people, a lot of people don't know. Okay, so this is Isaiah chapter 36 and verse 6. Lo, thou trusteth in the staff of this broken reed on Egypt, whereon if a man lean, it will go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to all that trust him. Okay, now, if anyone don't know what a reed is, this is a reed. Okay, and it said a broken reed, and that's a broken reed right there. What does that look like? Doesn't it look similar to that? Okay, and doesn't this reed kind of, in a way, look like this? Okay, so you got to be visual with Jake. Come on, man. That's plain. Look at that. Look at the tip. Look at the tip. And then look at the tip right here, man. You can't tell me that that's not what that's talking about. Okay? So we're going to read it again. Lo, thou trusted in the staff. And the staff goes into support. On this broken reed on Egypt, wherein if a man lean on it, it will go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to all that trust in him. Okay? So why is this reed going to pierce his hand? Because ultimately that's what they're going to be used, that syringe, to inject that M.O.T.B inside you. Okay? You can't make this up. This is plain. So from there, let's go to the book of Ecclesiasticus, also known as the book of Sirach, or however you want to pronounce it, chapter 27, I'm start at the top. Many have sinned for a small matter, and he that seeketh for abundance will turn his eyes away. As a nail sticketh fast between the joinings of the stones, so do sins stick close between buying and selling. Okay, now we know that, taking this M.O.T.B is a sin, and that's going to, pretty much, if anyone takes it, they're going to receive the wrath of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Okay, so we are to trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Verse 3, unless a man hold himself diligently in the fear of the Lord, his house shall soon be overthrown. Okay, so if you don't have that fear of the Lord, if you don't trust Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, you're going to be overthrown. All right? And let's go to the book of Psalms 118 and verse 8. It is better to trust in the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua than to put confidence in man. It is better to trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahushua than to put confidence in princes. Okay? So it's better for us to trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahushua than to put our trust in man, than to put our trust in the government. Okay? And I'm just thinking back what we read in Isaiah the 36th chapter when it's talking about, they trusting in the staff of a broken reed in Egypt. All right, let's get Isaiah, I want to say 30. Isaiah 31 and verse 1. You can also read 30 because it's pretty much. Matter of fact, I'm going to read 30, then I'm going to jump to 31. Isaiah 30 and 1. Woe to the rebellious children. Slakia. Woe to the rebellious children, saith Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, that walk to go down into Egypt. We know this place, America, is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, and have not asked in my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. All right. So he said, woe, death and destruction unto those that trust in the Egypt. So put that back over there. Go over Isaiah 31 and 1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, and stay on horses, and trust in chariots, because they are many, and horsemen. Okay? The horses represent power. The chariots represent, military vehicles. And the horsemen, the chariots and the horsemen represents their military, because they are very strong, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek Yahweh. Okay? Put this on. I usually do that, Salakia. Okay? So, woe unto them that go down to Egypt for help, man. We just read it's better to trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Now I'm going to close it out with this. Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10. Okay? Never trust thine enemy. Okay? And who is our enemies? Let's jump to Psalms the 83rd chapter to see who our enemies are. Okay? Psalms 83 and 1. Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. Who is the Lord's people? And who is his hidden ones? The Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Seminole Indians, West Indians, and Haitians. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. Now I was about to list who our enemies are. The tabernacles of Edom, which represents the so-called white man, the Ishmaelites, the Arabs, Moab, the Chinese, the Hagarenes, Gabal, Hamites, Ammon, Japanese, Amalek, you know, are the 1948ers, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre, which are more Hamites. Ashurians also join with them. They have hope in the children of Lot, Salah. So verses 6, 7 list the enemies of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, pretty much are heathen nations. Okay? Now going back to Sirach, the 12th chapter, verse 10, never trust our enemies. So we are not to trust these people and what they're trying to push on us. For like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. Set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? So who's going to feel bad for those that fall into these, that fall for the wiles of the devil? I know I'm not. You should have known better. But people got this saying in the world that ignorance is bliss. But the scriptures tell us not to be ignorant of any matter, whether great or small. Verse 14. So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity? No one. But for a while, he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips. Okay? He gonna come telling you, it's gonna be able to do this, that, and the third. The false miracles, false signs and wonders. It's gonna be able to do this, that, and the third. You'll be able to do this. He gonna come with, sweet words smoother than butter. But war is in his heart. But in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. Okay? And that pit represents destruction. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. All right? So, just a little bit more, don't, Jake, if you have any sort of common sense, don't go on a date with Vanessa Williams and Maxine Waters, and don't go kick it with Biz Marquis, man. So don't take that thing. Don't take the M.O.T.B. I pray and hope that this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Hakwadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from. Peace, blessing, safety, and salutation unto the hopeful elect, to believers and listeners out there that came back to the faith and obedience of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Shalom, Kwam Yasharala, Abba, Shalom.